Thanks for coming here, everybody. Welcome to the Opportunity Hour. It feels kind of like an ego label. Here's your opportunity. But yeah, time to just ask anything that's on your mind. You can feel free to unmute, ask in the chat, whatever's on your mind. I'm here for you.
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, thanks.
I'm so happy I can join. I think, I don't know. I've been reading all the forums, just like probably everyone here. What are your thoughts on tariffs and pricing? I did read your blog post, but I'm curious, like, what other people on the call are thinking. We're in like a more of a luxury market space already. We're already using luxury flowers, and like I'm worried about sales, but also like that profit margin.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna go
Okay,
off the screen and but I'm listening. Thank
no
you.
problem. I'm glad we just got that one over with, so I don't have to wait for somebody to be asking it. So, and yeah, that's partially why I did write my post and post it yesterday before this call in case anyone wanted to read it, because I do think it's just hard, and it's easy to say you just have to raise your prices. That's a really easy thing that I could tell you, and it would be so easy to just say that. But I am a florist too, right? I have customers too. And I understand like it's a tricky situation where we already have, 10, 12, 15, 20. Some people do 100 weddings, right? You have all these people under contract. And are we just going to put out this, we start to see the statements coming out of prices will be going up by 10% or 20% or this. How do we even know is just really where I'm at because I just need to keep things real. So if things go up 20%, right? The truth is, here's the real truth. The real truth is it's Congress's job to stop this because Congress is in charge of tariffs, not a president, right? This is not what this is really meant for. So, like, the real truth is, I'm holding out hope that someone whose actual job it is to not let us be taxed, personally and in the business, because that's really what this also comes down to. We are going to be taxed and we're going to be making less money as a result of that. And then we're also going to have this balance of do we raise our prices or do we absorb the new tariff or part of the new tariff? And it's just going to be a real personal decision for all of us based on a lot of things. So here's what I think, Amanda. If you are in a market where you work with more affluent people, you're a little more protected from the harm of the tariffs, from my understanding, right? I'm not an economist, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a florist. But trust me when I tell you I have been doing a lot of paying attention, okay? Um, and it does seem like the people who make the most money will not feel the hurt the way that those of us who maybe deal with, the clients who are in that $3,000 to $5,000 flower budget, range for their wedding, we're gonna feel it more because our customers are going to be feeling it more. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of just real world testing right now. What do the flowers actually start costing at the wholesaler? We already know from COVID, um, they're increasing by 8%, Alana says. Okay, see, and see how that's so much less than 20? That's why, like, I don't want to just send out something to my customers like prices are going up 20%. It's going to invite the questions, right? Well, what does that mean for me? If we're just saying 20%, if I have a $3,000 order with you, now I'm wondering, do you think I'm paying you 3,600 because I don't have it, right? Again, the lower the budget, the less likely they are to have that. I've done weddings where that extra $600 wouldn't have been a big deal. But again, if the wedding is bigger, then that percentage is bigger too. So this is why I always like to think in real dollars, just like I teach in flower math. All roads lead back to flower math. But truly, like, so what does that 8% look like? Does it look like 8 cents on your $1 flower? Do you have to triple that 8 cents? Do you need to make your profit margin on this tariff? Or can you keep your prices the same or raise them by 8 cents, but not by 24 cents or whatever the margin would be if you tripled it? So these are going to be the I can't really tell you because you're going to have to decide for yourself like what you can absorb. It's going to be based on so many things. The more weddings you have, in some ways, you might need to be even more careful that you're making sure you're getting those margins so you're not losing. For people who have a smaller business where it's a more like the way that I do my business, where it's weddings, I can just adjust my recipes a bit and then also have a conversation because I don't have 100 clients. I have like hopefully, I'll have about 12 by the time I'm done here. But I think I have 10 right now. One of them is this week, and it's a really small wedding. I wasn't going to talk to them about tariffs. Um, and the next wedding is also one where there's no flexibility in their budget for them to be charged more. It's up to me to like back down the recipes. I don't know why this Zoom always thinks I'm giving a thumbs up when I'm just like sitting like this or something. It's very weird. Anyway, I don't know if you saw that thumbs up like I did, but it looks like I'm giving everyone a thumbs up on my screen. Hide it, hide it. There must be a way to disable that. So anyway, I think it really comes down to, okay, so when I was doing my pricing chat in March, which some of you signed up for Flower Math during that time, Carissa said she did her pricing, she did her profit margins, and she had an 80% margin last year on her weddings, right? Dream girl. She's my dream girl. So if you're someone who has that kind of a margin, you might not have to have this uncomfortable conversation with your client. You might have already built in this wiggle room so that you can do the thing that I think we would all love to be able to do and say, don't worry, we got you. Nothing's going to change, right? We would love to be able to say that. Um, but yeah, it's just not going to be so easy to just add 20% onto a sale or even 8%, right? Even if I needed to raise the price by 8%, this is where we want to just think about how are we making up this tariff money? So it's not out of pocket, right? That would be ideal. Some wholesalers are even saying they're going to take a piece, right? It's the tariff is 28%, but we're only going to charge you 20, right? Whatever the thing may be. So we want to seem reasonable in this, and we also want to protect our interests, and that means again, multiple things, right? It's not just our profit margin. Because if we protect our profit margin, but we lose our customers because they're so angry and they feel like we could have said something differently, we could have done this differently, that's not good. I didn't get the end result. So I always tune back into my question, my grounding question. What is your intention? What is your intention for charging somebody more for this tariff, right? Is it just to make sure that you're not out of pocket? Or are you now like, well, if I'm paying 8 cents more for, that flower that costs $1, if it's now $1.08, I have to mark up that 8 cents as well. I'm not telling you that's wrong, by the way. Okay, you can do it however you want. But because if the new price is $1.08, easy peasy, that's the new price. But I do think, as these numbers get bigger, right, for flowers that are more expensive, for quantities that are larger, that starts to add up over time. So what you might find if you are just charging for what the tariff amount is, and you're not marking up on the tariff, your profit margin will start to reflect that a little bit, but it's not like you're actually making any less money than you did last year on the exact same thing. Does that make sense? Let me know if what I said sounds confusing. Because you're going to charge like the 8 cents or whatever, but you're still charging the exact amount you did last year. So you're making the same profit. You're just getting that little extra 8 cents per rose, or whatever the flower is. I wish I remember when I used to pay $1 for a rose. Um, but and I know some people still do. But that's just how I would think about it. So you need to know, are you already meeting your margin? Are you already at that, what I teach, 70% as your minimum? Are you already at that 70% minimum margin? If you are, then you can take a look at what the real numbers are and how does that impact what you need to charge. And maybe you do have to charge, right? Maybe you really do have to say, listen, it's $50 more for the tax or whatever it is, okay? But it's going to be a lot better than saying it's $600 more because I'm rolling out a 20% tariff on you, right? Um, so yeah, I think that that's sort of the way that I would approach it. And I would also just have honest conversations with my customers. So if I go to my wholesaler this week and the flowers are more expensive, and then when I do my workshop at the end of this month, here in Vermont, where it is snowing today, uh, if I, am paying more for those flowers, I'm going to be looking at those numbers and I'm going to be either talking to the next client and saying, so the as you unless you're living under a rock, you know that the tariffs have been placed on things. This is how much it's impacting flowers. I'm estimating it's going to be X amount of dollars for your wedding in tariffs. And I just wanted to know, are you okay with me, including this and keeping the order as is? Or would you like me to reduce some things in size, take a few flowers out here or there so that you're not losing, so that there's no change in the price? Because the customer can get involved. The customer can say, I want the original quote, just charge me the tax. I get it. Some people will have customers like that. And then there are some people who simply will not have that money in their budget because they've already overspent with you and everybody else as well. Okay. So we have to be, I personally think, reasonable and willing to work with them. We have the ability to change our recipe. We have the ability to say, no, I cannot provide peonies for that price, but you can have carnations. And I'm not saying that to be like sarcastic or nasty, like just straight up facts, right? No, I cannot do peonies, but we can do these beautiful large cremones. It ain't a peony, but it'll be a similar size, similar color, maybe, right? That's what we got to do.